When we do a simple YouTube search for video essays of nationalism and patriotism in Chinese movies, we get a plethora of them, straight to the point. It is no secret that Chinese blockbusters often champion the nationalistic values of its ruling party, who pretty much hold a tight rein on the censorship of films in the PRC. However, do a simple search of patriotism and nationalism in Hollywood movies. Well, we don't get any video essay results from it. That means Hollywood doesn't make any propagandistic and nationalistic films, does it? Well, it's quite the opposite actually. Just hear me out. First, let's define and understand the term propaganda. The layman definition for propaganda from vocabulary.com is information that is spread for the purpose of promoting some cause. So, there are two clear parts to a propaganda piece: information spreading and promoting a cause. The Soviets were the pioneers in using film as a tool for propaganda. The creation of propaganda birthed the montage techniques widely seen in film, even in the present day, to convey both surface-level ideas and deeper metaphorical concepts. More notably, the rise of Soviet propaganda has created a fundamental editing theory called the Kuleshov effect, where two juxtaposing shots can be edited together to convey a certain message. It is even argued that Soviets started intellectual cinema, where ideas and concepts were conveyed to audiences using film as a medium. From the same communist background, the CPC also uses film as a tool for propaganda, making films with patriotism as their core message to push their nationalistic agendas. The state also heavily subsidized movie tickets as part of an employee benefit for Chinese citizens. This made film a highly popular pastime in China before the rise of television entertainment. Film attendance fell drastically until Hollywood films were introduced into the Chinese film scene. The sharp spike in cinema patrons, however, was largely thanks to the Chinese interest in Hollywood movies instead of their local productions. This forced China's film industry to cook up a new strategy: make films that can match up to the appeal of Hollywood movies while upholding their notoriously strict censorship. The Chinese took Hollywood's key winning formulas, such as their heavy reliance on special effects, and created their own patriotic narratives, and it worked. In 2019, local films made up 8 out of the top 10 movies in China, even though the current import quota now allows up to 34 foreign films imports into the nation. Titles like Ne Zha and The Wandering Earth competed for the top grossing spot with internationally renowned titles. The high-quality production of movies in China in 2019 could be largely attributed to the celebration of its 90th anniversary that year. On the list of top 10 highest grossing movies in China in 2019, the following 5 films, you'll see, have a common message. The Wandering Earth, which has a core message about how working together can save humanity and preserve its future in a dystopian world where a wandering Earth is about to crash into Jupiter. My People, My Country, which is an anthology film consisting of 7 moments since the founding of People's Republic of China. The Captain, whose Chinese title literally translates to China's Plane Captain, which is a film about how good leadership saved a plane from crashing during an accident. Crazy Alien, a film about how a monkey trainer tries to train an alien to perform, with the main character's innocence towards the alien blamed on Armenicans, hiding the fact that aliens landed on Earth. Lastly, The Bravest, a film about a firefighting incident in China, similar to that of The Captain. Based on the analysis of the plots and messages of the films, half of the top grossing films of 2019 in China revolved around the central theme of nationalism. At this juncture, you may think, no way would Hollywood make propaganda like that. Well, they do. They're just better at hiding it. Propaganda had its roots in Hollywood since the 1910s. D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation has been credited to influence many to join the Ku Klux Klan, due to the racist portrayal of African Americans as violent people, and the Ku Klux Klan as the heroes that saved the day. Though not as stark and boldly offensive, you can still catch a glimpse of propaganda in Hollywood films today. There are the more obvious ones like military and historical films. Argo is one of them. A CIA agent rescues US diplomats who try to escape Iran during the 1979 Iranian Revolution. Immediately, it sends off a patriotic message towards viewers that the US government will go above and beyond to help their citizens in need. It instills confidence in the government. Another classic example of propaganda in Hollywood is American Sniper. Since the US went to war with Iraq in 2003, people were divided in their views of whether the war waged by the US was justified. An American Sniper seeks to give a direct explanation as to why the war was justified, even though the actual situation was not quite as clear-cut. The justifications for the war are as follows.
I was just protecting my guys. They were trying to kill our soldiers.
Oh, you want these motherfuckers to come to San Diego or New York? We're protecting more than just this dirt.
At the beginning of the movie categorizes the world to 3 types of people: the sheep, who cannot see the evil in the world; the wolves, who uses violence to prey on the weak, and the sheepdogs, who are
blessed with the gift of aggression and the overpowering need to protect the flock.
It is obvious who fits each category in the film, with the sheep being American civilians, the wolves being the Iraqis, and the sheepdogs being the US military. By constantly referring to the Iraqi as
Evil.
the film paints the US military as a Valkyrie, liberating the world from evil in classic propaganda fashion, and makes it seem like the rest of humanity, the sheeps, can't do anything without them, the sheepdogs, for only they can protect us against the evil of the world. This displays the concept American exceptionalism, which I will further explain in my next point. American propaganda extends beyond the historical and war film genres too. Notice how when aliens invade Earth in movies, it's only the US that they invade, and the whole world seems to be ignored? That's the exact problem with Interstellar. We all remember Interstellar as the movie about space exploration with an accurate portrayal of the black hole, as verified by celebrity scientist Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yet, behind the curtains lay a dangerous mindset of US colonialism. As mentioned by Peter Bloom from his article, Interstellar is a dangerous fantasy for US colonialism. Interstellar is a movie about a team of explorers setting out to a wormhole to find a habitable planet beyond dystopian Earth. The film sends a very optimistic message, with Matthew McConaughey saying,
"Mankind was born on Earth, it was never meant to die here."
However, the invisible yet disturbing problem lasts throughout the whole film. The movie is not only set in the US and involves NASA, an American organization, but it is also the only country involved in the entire runtime. The film subconsciously sends off a message that without Americans, there wouldn't be a future for humans, which reinforces the problem of American exceptionalism in Hollywood films today. Peter Bloom tries to explain the concept of American exceptionalism with the following quote in the article. America felt that it had a special right and mission to colonize the whole of what is now the intercontinental USA. In the contemporary period, it has used its moral superiority and divinely given exceptionalism to justify military interventions across the world, from Afghanistan to Iraq. While Interstellar is by no means militaristic, it nevertheless maintains that it is the special and exclusive right of Americans to colonize the galaxy. The subconscious message of American exceptionalism in Interstellar is part of the 21st century cultural imperialism problem, where the Western culture attempts to wash out a domestic culture in a foreign country by creating an overwhelming demand for Western products and media to consume. Hollywood propaganda does not exist only in war movies and historical films. It is right before our eyes, in the biggest superhero franchise in the world. I'll give you a hint. It's in the superhero's name. That's right, it's Captain America of the Avengers. The origin story of Captain America, a super soldier that emerged in the middle of World War II in America, still carries its message to the silver screen today in spite of being created almost 70 years ago. And this sends off a strong yet subconscious message of patriotism. Wrapped in a package of Chris Evans' all-American good looks and the blinding effects of the whole Avengers hype, this message becomes effective, almost natural, and very, very effective.
That is America's ass.
William Churchill once said, "History is written by the victors," but I would like to argue that history is written by Hollywood. Hollywood has solidified its place as the epitome of globalized commercial cinema since the beginning of the 20th century, with over 50% of its revenue generated overseas after World War II. In an increasingly globalized world, English has become the unofficial official language of this world. Many believe that by watching English films such as the ones produced by Hollywood, they could improve their English eventually.
How did you teach yourself English?
Actually, my English teacher was a sitcom, Friends.
In addition, people from the baby boomer era onwards have been exposed to Hollywood media at a young age. Children's cartoon series such as Tom and Jerry, Pink Panther are not unfamiliar to most of us. And with the biggest media company in the world, Disney, dominating content targeted towards children, it is not surprising that we have become used to watching Americans saving us from the bad guys. This makes it easy for us to accept and consume American propaganda. Having been brainwashed from young to think that they are the norm, they are our saviors and heroes. On the other hand, we are quick to identify any form of stark propaganda from other nations simply because we are not used to watching protagonists that aren't Western people. In this digital age, the influence and demand for Hollywood media have also increased. However, Hollywood sometimes forgets the influence they have over people's perception of the world. Even though American Sniper was made for the glorification of America, targeting the American market, people residing outside of the US who do not do additional research on the history of America may take the series of events represented in American Sniper as hard facts. Though Hollywood does not possess the power to literally rewrite history, it has the influence to misinform viewers on historical truths and facts, which is even more effective than rewriting history that no one reads. We laugh at North Koreans and the Chinese for making absurd propaganda, but when Hollywood presents the exact same thing, no one realizes it. We, having been fed American values and opinions through their content, have become so accustomed to their lifestyle and beliefs that we don't even live in America. However, we can do something about this. As Nancy Snow writes, propaganda begins where critical thinking ends. Do you evaluate and think about what you've just witnessed on screen, or do you simply lap up whatever the film feeds you, taking it to be the truth? In the next video, we're going to discuss a related topic to propaganda, sensationalism in media. Stay tuned to the Singapore Film Society channel